then okay, now if you put it together, like Rachel was saying, you do it this way with the K? Okay? That's how it needs to be defined. 7 o'clock. That's when you need the number. Okay? One of the only times you're going to need the number is when you do it together with the stroke. Okay? Got it? And that's the way that it needs to be defined. Or this way. I wouldn't necessarily do it like that, but whatever. But if that's the way you want to do it, if you were taught to transcribe 7 o'clock as 7 o'clock, then define your K7 stroke as that.
The first one is wrong.
I know. Then this needs to be, I guess, like S-E-V-E-N. Okay? So if that's the way you do it, and you want to do it the way that I do it, which is the word, then that's the way you need to do it. S-E-V-E-N, not the 7. Okay? Make sense? But if you want to do it like this, help yourself. Okay? I don't do it that way. To me, it looks better with the words. That's the way that I was taught. Okay? So it's up to you. Another thing with o'clock is you can do it in one stroke. Okay? And you do it with the asterisk, and it's clock with the with the asterisk. So you can do it. You don't have to. Do it in 2 strokes. It doesn't matter. You know, if that's the way you want to do it, I do it like this. But we do it every day. We call a 9 o'clock docket call, and we call a 10 o'clock docket call, and he goes on the record saying, this is the 9 o'clock docket call every day. Every day. It's a 10 o'clock docket call. Every day. So I just learned to write it in 1 stroke. Okay? And he says it all the time. At the end of the hearing, we're always setting a next hearing, whether it's a trial on the merits, whether it's a permanency hearing, placement review, whatever. Whether the next hearing is going to be January 23rd, 2015, 2016 at 3 o'clock. He always does the time. You know, so whether it's 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, you know, there's ways of doing time for it, okay? That's the way I do the clock, o'clock. All right? You can do miles an hour. You know, if that's the way that you want to do it. I mean, you do it in 1 stroke.
I believe we have Mark and Merp.
Mine's Merp and Marp.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure why you need this.
It said the braces makes the preceding number. If you read it, it says it triggers it as a unit of measure. So I guess it forces the preceding. So I guess I need to change my dictionary.
Braces allow Eclipse to recognize miles as a unit of measure that triggers conversion for a preceding number. The system will then insert the literal text and hour.
So will it remove? Don't remove miles. It just triggers the preceding number, like 27.
Miles an hour.
So if you're trying
I
to.
don't think it really matters. I mean, as long as you define it as miles an hour, I don't know what exactly it's converting.
Maybe if you're writing, if you 27
Yeah.
miles an hour, maybe if you put the brace, it'll automatically convert it into 27
And it could.
miles per hour.
It could. So I don't know exactly what it's doing there, but or why it's asking it to do that. Same thing with miles. Okay, all you needed to do is define miles. Pounds, the same way. All you have to do is define pound. But that's, you know, if you're talking about money from, where is that, England? You know, when they're talking about pounds. Or I guess if they're talking about pounds too. Well, how much did he weigh? 25 pounds. You know, there's another one that has the DZ for the pounds instead of coming back.
Do you hyphenate it the way they did? If you just said 25 pounds? Because they had 25-pound hyphenate, so.
Nah, I usually don't. Now, if it was a 25-pound cat, yeah, okay. This is the way you do hyphen, okay? Number
Okay.
as a numeral.
Hyphen.
That's the only one that's really kind of confusing. Yeah. And why it's, you know, that much, I don't know. But it's saying it's when it's with a number. Okay? So it's a number, hyphen, number, and it's going to know to do it. To put the hyphens in there. So that's the way that you have to define it. Bracket, showing that it's going to be a number, and you want it in numeral form, close bracket, bracket, hyphen, bracket, bracket, number, numeral, bracket. Seems like a lot. I don't know. And the same thing with, you know, the slash. Okay? But if that's the way you, I mean, if that's the way you write, that's the way it needs to be set up. On the ordinals, it's all going to depend on how you have your ordinals set up in your user setting. Okay? So here they're telling you to put it as 1ST. I mean, they had just told you not to do that. You know, on first and whatever. They didn't, you know, they didn't need it to be first. And with the ordinals, when you put it as an ordinal, but you have to have a stroke that converts it to an ordinal. Does that make sense? I use the E, 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E. You have to have some kind of stroke to make it know that it's an ordinal. Because if not, I mean, then it's just going to put it in FIRST. Okay? Now in AutoMagic, you'll be able to change it because usually with first, FIRST, it's going to give you the option of 1ST. Okay? So, and that's what it's telling you right here, May 1st. Not needed. Eclipse knows numbers immediately following the months require digits or digits with ordinal numbers. Okay? So it already kind of knows when it follows a month and it's, you know, some kind of first, second, third, fourth, whatever, then it knows to convert it to the number. Here are a number of steno strokes defined as dictionary entries that force specific number conversions. Such strokes can be written immediately before the number, in the middle of the number, or immediately after the number. Okay, and it's word 500, or 5 word 100, or 500 word. Okay? So this is the way that I have it. Like when he says the next hearing is going to be the trial on the merits, it's going to be January 16th, 2016 at 9. Well, it's not going to be at 9. it's going to be a 9:00. This is the way that I do it. Time with an asterisk. And that's the way that it needs to be defined. And it knows to switch it into time. It already knows to do it. So whether you do it before and you hear it before, because everybody's minds are different. They're like, oh, there's a time. Time, 9. You can do it before, after, and it's saying right here that it doesn't matter because it knows. Whether it's before the number, middle of the number, or right after the number, I always hear it after. I always hear it at the end. I hear dollars at the end. Some people don't. They hear it at the beginning. Whatever. This is the way you define it. So when you want 500 written out into words, you can trigger it. There's a stroke that you can do that'll trigger it. That you want it in words. Okay? That's how you do it. Pound means that there's a number, some kind of number, and the capital W means to put it in words. Generic digits, ordinal, time, converts to time, and Roman numerals. Okay? And that's how you define it.
So when you're in court and they say, let's meet at 9, you stroke number 9, and then you write time with an asterisk, and it turns it into 9.
It turns it into 9:00. Yeah. Guys, super cool stroke right there. But you have to practice this because you don't hear the time. They don't say 9 time. All they say is 9. You have to know to write time. You just have to know it. And I'm telling you, once you do it enough and you practice it enough, it just comes. And I mean, I don't even think about it now. I just do it. And we do it every day. Okay, we're going to call the 9 o'clock docket. 9 o'clock with the asterisk, docket. D-O-K-T. Simple.
So for you, clock writes o'clock.
O'clock. Yeah.
My question is, are
Uh-oh.
you, see, before I used to have, I learned that the asterisk T was for time. That for me,
Mm-hmm.
like 4 years ago, that's how I originally learned it.
All right.
So now when I have to write my ordinals, it is confusing to me because I hesitate because I know that for my brain it's still as time and not ordinals. Is there a way, how would I go in and change my ordinals? Like if I want to not use the asterisk T, I don't want to use it for the ordinals, I want to use it for time. Like, because that's how I remember it.
Okay.
Even I stroke out time, even today, I'll still stroke out time, asterisk T to change the number. But I know it's not going to change it.
And does it come up as your time?
It comes out as my ordinal, because
Oh.
that's the way it is in my dictionary. But for right now, like I want to know how to do star T or asterisk T to turn it into the command to turn the number into time.
You define it as that?
Okay, so
So
I
you
would just,
global it?
Okay, and then just
Define it?
Okay. What do y'all use for y'all's ordinals then? Y'all do this the asterisk T?
Sorry.
No, that's my,
Like first, second, third, and digits with the ST and D. RD.
So first, second,
Third.
1
I've
ST,
never
2 ND,
used
3 RD. Huh?
Well, she's asking me what I use. I can't recall a time I've ever used ST. I usually FIRST.
For like 20 seconds.
If they say May 1st, you do May FIRST?
Oh, well then I'll write 1 S asterisk.
Oh.
you say you use E, or is that for your
E.
ordinals?
Ordinals. So first, second, third, when I want it as a number.
Just
So
like-
it already knows. If I want it as first, what place did you come in? First? I do FIRS asterisk. But if he says, what day did you go? I went May 1st. I already know it's 1, so I do 1E. So the 1 with the E signifies that it's going to be an ordinal. Okay? Got it?
Yeah, because my asterisk T makes the TH like hundredth, thousandth
Mhm.
for me, so.
So if you do it like that, and it's telling you right here. So if you want it as an ordinal and you do 1S, is that what you do? Or you do S
No,
asterisk?
one, and then, yeah, asterisk, S.
In one stroke?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then you're going to define it as that. Your asterisk S is going to be defined as that. But like me, I write 1E
In one stroke.
in one stroke.
But if we don't want to use it in one stroke, we just want to have one simple command for everything. So
That's what I just said.
That's what, okay, so that's what.
So if you do star T, is that what you do?
That's
Star
what
T?
I want to do, that's how I want to define it, yes. Star
As
T.
time.
As time, right.
Then you do it like that.
Okay,
You don't have to write any of this other stuff. You just define it as that from now on. Now it's going to define it as time. Okay? But if you put it together in one stroke, then you have to define it as that. Okay? Got it? Same thing with date conversion. However you do date. I do a date with the asterisk. And it'll put it out as that. And you define it.
For the most part, are these already in here, or we have to add these?
What?
These command things.
Well, I mean, if that's what you use, I don't know. You're going to have to check your dictionary. Because you may have somebody else's dictionary. And if it's never been put in there, then it's not in there. Okay?
I've already looked some of these I have to go and insert.
Yeah. And you're probably going to have to insert most of them.
the only thing that I'm drawing a blank on, I understand what you mean by defining it and going in and defining the star T to use as the command for time.
Yeah.
So right now, the asterisk T is being used as my ordinals for any number,
Yeah.
right? So, for example, I hit 1 and then I do asterisk T and it turns it into 1ST.
Okay.
Now I want to go back in, I want to define that asterisk T, but obviously it's a command, so it's not going to let me highlight just the asterisk T, it's going to highlight the whole WUN asterisk T.
Why?
I'm not sure.
Because you have it defined like that.
But,
Just put it on the ST.
so here, okay, so here it is.
Fix
See,
the number
and it doesn't
problem.
move it.
You see the
You see that?
thous?
The Z, like that, the Z. then you
Because
force
it's
it
yeah,
to
like
force
it's-
it
Because
to
it's already
the
in there. It's already in the dictionary.
1002, like the way it's doing.
So how would I just delete completely the command asterisk T? How would I do that?
Thous,
Because I have thou, and thou is my $1,000. Yeah, that's my thousand. But I don't have with a Z. So that could be my command to force it to digit, so I don't have that 2,002.
yeah.
And then I can check hundredths. Oh. I don't have HUNZ though, so that would do tons and thousands.
Oh, my
Hundredths is my $100, but not the HUNZ, because HUND makes the dollar.
You want it as well.
I wanted to change the command like to time.
So mine is $100.
Maybe if we force it to be HUNS.
My HUNS is hundreds.
Or, sorry, Z.
Yeah, I don't have anything
We could enter that and see if we could learn it, if it would force, if that would make the number issue better.
but then how do you do it for everything else?
You just want it to be thousand the number. You could just do thou.
to mess with them over there.
Sorry, because I
Yeah.
don't want to hit, and that, for some reason I haven't hit 10, I see 19, and then I come back for the 9.
Okay,
and my
guys.
finger will sometimes say yours will be 19, 19, and then 3. I'm like, oh no. Mm-hmm. Just whatever my brain comes up with is what it spits out. I'm not like. I don't know what it got.
If you do it like this, 2002, then it needs to be defined as 1,000, and it's going to know to put them together, and it's going to know to put it as a number. Okay? I don't know if that's the way you write
We
2002.
were talking about, I could try, because we're looking at hundreds and thousands
Yeah.
with the HUN and Z,
Yeah.
and thou and Z, and it doesn't come up as anything in our dictionary. I don't know if I could enter that and teach myself to do it that way, because I do 2, thou, 2,
Yeah.
and it will write 2 with the number and then 1,000, and
Yeah.
then the number 2, and it doesn't link it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can use it, teaching myself to use the Z, and then making it do that command
Mhm.
will force it.
Well, I guess you can if you define it like that.
Yeah, if I
It's going to.
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to know to do it that way.
And just
So yeah, you can.
Yeah, just teach myself to add the Z when
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the numbered bar with it.
Yeah. What you got? You know what, guys? Bring your machines next week, because all of this stuff that we're doing this week, if it doesn't come up, I'll call support. Okay? And we're going to get it fixed. So for some reason that it's not coming up in the dictionary and stuff like that, I don't know what the deal is with that. Well, we'll get it fixed. Okay? So don't freak out. Okay, so they're telling you right here, okay, how would you define this? If you write number 3, how would you do in an Eclipse now?
Just the word 3.
Yeah. And here, select